It is the political equivalent of a lightning strike on a calm day. For years, JD Vance has been the loyal lieutenant, the trusted lieutenant in the chaos of the Trump era. He was the voice that defended the indefensible, the president standing silently behind a president who thrived on disruption. But on Saturday morning, everything changed. The silence ended. Loyalty fractured. And in one calculated move, JD Vance admitted publicly that the administration had made mistakes, big, glaring mistakes, during the ICE raid on the Holy Grace Tabernacle in Dallas. Tear gassing children in a church basement wasn't just a PR disaster. It was the spark that ignited a political powder keg, and Vance lit it. The betrayal wasn't whispered in private corridors, it was broadcast. Vance used words that in Trump's White House are verboten. He called the raid an operational failure. He acknowledged that the administration had lost control of the narrative. And most importantly, he told the room full of terrified donors that he was stepping in personally to clean up the mess, because the current strategy was nothing short of a suicide pact. This was no gaffe. This was a coup in slow motion. The setting is crucial to understanding the audacity. While Washington was paralyzed by protests, Vance quietly returned to Ohio under the pretense of family time. In reality, he convened an emergency summit with the Republican Party's mega donors, energy magnates, crypto billionaires, manufacturing giants. They were panicked. The Japan bond crash had decimated portfolios, the Canada trade blockade was choking supply chains, and the fallout from the church raid threatened to alienate the party's evangelical base. In response, Vance delivered the unvarnished truth. A recording leaked to Politico and the New York Times captured every word. In the key segment, a donor pressed, "Mr. Vice President, we are getting killed out here. The boycott is real. The markets are broken, and watching feds storm a church in Texas, it looks like tyranny. Is the president listening to anyone?" Vance responded without hesitation. "Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is going according to plan. It's not. The raid in Dallas was a mistake. It was an operational failure of the highest order. You don't use tear gas in a sanctuary. That is not who we are, and it's not what we promised." He didn't couch his comments in loyalty or deflection. He didn't say, "The president has asked me to help." He said, "I am stepping in." Every word was deliberate. He was asserting executive authority over the president's head, signaling to donors, markets, and staff alike that he was now the de facto CEO of the administration. When he referred to the current strategy as a suicide pact, he framed loyalty to Trump as political death, giving donors a green light to pivot without abandoning the party. The financial and influence angle cannot be overstated. JD Vance is a creation of Peter Thiel and Silicon Valley financiers who backed Trump as a wrecking ball to disrupt the old order. But disruption has consequences. The stock markets were reeling, the tech sector was exposed to EU sanctions, and the anti-coercion instruments threatened billions in revenue. Sources indicate Thiel and Musk had an urgent conversation with Vance days before the leak. The message was clear: Trump is destroying assets. Save the vehicle or the experiment ends in catastrophe. When Vance spoke, the markets responded almost immediately, rallying slightly on the news of his intervention. Wall Street, in effect, had cast its vote. Constitutionally, the implications are profound. The 25th Amendment, Section 4, is suddenly not a theoretical tool but a real lever. It allows the vice president and a majority of the cabinet to declare the president unable to discharge the powers of his office. Until now, this was a political fantasy. Now, Vance has signaled willingness to break with the president, dangling the constitutional threat like a blade. Trump cannot remove him, cannot fire him, and any attempt to sideline him is purely symbolic. Vance is playing a soft coup, converting the White House into a house divided. Strategically, Vance is positioning himself for the long game. The Trump-Vance ticket is effectively dead. Future elections, midterms, and donor alliances are already in motion behind the scenes. He presents himself as the stabilizing force, the adult in the room, capable of delivering MAGA without the chaos. By siding with the church against the state, he is threading a needle Trump never could, keeping the conservative base while criticizing the tactics that alienate it. He is not just salvaging the party, he is seizing it. The closing scene of this political drama is still unfolding. European diplomats are already reaching out to Vance's office, bypassing the State Department. Federal agencies are slow-rolling Trump's more extreme orders, awaiting guidance from Vance. The White House is split. The markets are watching, protesters are gathering, and in Ohio, Vance sits quietly, calculating, confident. The betrayal is complete, the endgame has begun. The story is far from over, and every institution, every market, and every voter will now be watching him. The silent coup is moving, and the balance of power has shifted forever.